Yanks are coming, the Yanks are coming. Rockets on the infrared. So prepare, say a prayer. Send the word to beware. We're coming over, we're coming over. And we won't be back till it's over. It's a long way to Tipperary. This way has come, I know. Goodbye, Piccadilly. Farewell, Leicester Square. It's a long, long way to Tipperary. But my heart is still there.
And here's where I'm coming from. I just want you to have an appreciation, okay? I was the commanding general of the 40th Infantry Division until 2009. I deployed approximately 14,000 troops in Iraq and Afghanistan. And as a result of that, I have the perspective of so many of our young men and women that have stepped up. But prior to that time, I was also a staff sergeant in Vietnam, serving with the 1st Infantry Division. And I returned from Vietnam in 1970 and basically stayed in. I couldn't stay away from the military. But the message I'd like to leave with you this morning is the whole notion of pausing and taking time. The commanding general of 4th Infantry Division and the division itself started at Camp Kearney. And there was an infantry, I believe it was F Company, right here in Woodland that deployed down to Camp Kearney in World War I. They joined some 27,000 troops of the 40th Infantry Division to go to France. They lost 12,000 troops in 200 days. 12,000 troops in 200 days. Now, compare that to the division I commanded when they had been in combat for 17 years now in Iraq and Afghanistan and Syria, and we have lost approximately 6,800 of our troops in Iraq and Afghanistan totally. And the point I'm making here is the carnage and the pain and the fact that we ripped the very fabric of the families and the communities when we took their loved ones away from them and put them into the fight. And when you do that, without the support and commitment of the family, the community, and the employers of those who have been called to duty. Remember, we had both volunteers and draft at that time. And the volunteers were the first ones to come in. And the division spent almost a year to build 27,000. 5,000 out of California and the balance out of 5 other states who constituted to go over there. They were all members of their community, businessmen, government leaders, every strata of society. And the mobilization of that group made a profound imprint on our entire psychic as a nation. And then we understood when you mobilize a person out of the community, you mobilize America. And we never lost sight of that because it was the first major mobilization of the National Guard and Reserves. And I know we have a historian there, so if I'm off by 1 or 2, don't hit me on that one, okay? But that's pretty close to what transpired. And what was amazing, in contrast, is when they transitioned back to Camp Kearney, almost as many lost their lives as wounded and fell ill to pneumonia and flu and other things that we can't treat effectively today. The good news is, veterans, members of the community, you have one of the most powerful forces I've ever seen put on the battlefield today with our youth. I know there's a lot of negative things said about what they're doing, and we're losing our way with our youth and our new generation, but I can tell you firsthand, we saw them in action in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Syria. They deported themselves as good as any veteran I have ever seen on any battlefield that I've stood. So I want you to know that you played a profound role in the division I had the privilege of commanding. And I'm just delighted to come back and say thank you to the community. Thank you for the tremendous outpouring of patriotic commitment on part of Yolo County and this particular community as a whole. And I'm looking out at generation after generation for the World War II veterans, the Korean veterans, the Vietnam veterans, and that might be in earshot of my words. I want to just give you the most profound thanks for allowing us, the later generation, to follow on and stand on your shoulders to make a profound impact on the well-being of this tremendous democracy that we have and the preservation of the tremendous liberties that you fought so hard to preserve and we continue to fight on battlefields as I stand before you today. We have literally thousands of people standing watch for you and I in over 100 countries. What a profound dynamic that America is so generous to give their young sons and daughters to such a profound effort. So allow me the privilege of saluting every veteran that's out there, your family members, and the community for stepping it up. It's a real privilege. Thank you.